the Ahsoka show has just released, and because of that, you know I had to make a figure of Ahsoka. So here it is, the Ahsoka figure. It is meant to be Ahsoka from the most recent Ahsoka show. No other version, no other outfit this is meant to relate. The only problem with this that doesn't really look right is their pants don't look like baggy enough. They look too much like pants. But besides for that, let's go straight into the figure. First thing to quickly go over is how tall is it, because you're probably wanting a larger figure than this. As you can see next to my hand, it is about the size of an action figure. I think it is the perfect size. It's not super tiny like the size of a minifig. It's not really big like the size of a Barbie. It is a pretty good size for a figure. So how tall is it though? Next to a Lego minifigure. So here we have a Phase 1 clone trooper. It's not the full thing. It's got nice mixed pieces. But next to Ahsoka, you can see it goes only up to about the thigh, and then it just stops. So it is pretty big next to those figures, but on its own, it looks pretty good. Now let's go over one more thing before we go over the actual target. Now let's go over one last thing. It does have two accessories. These two lightsabers, one being shorter than the other clearly, and they might not be the world's best lightsaber, but I built them in about 30 seconds, so that's acceptable. But I'm not going to put both of them on, but I'll put this one on. What is necessary is you must take off the gauntlet, take out their hand, and then put the orange where their hand used to be, put the gauntlet back on, and now you have them holding a lightsaber. It doesn't work the best, but it's good enough. I couldn't actually find an option to have the lightsaber clip in here unless I use like an actual lightsaber piece, which wasn't bad, but I didn't have any hilt that would have worked. And then I didn't want to spend forever looking for something better, so this is my option, though I will probably find a better option sometime in the future. Now let's go over the articulation, because it's probably something really important to a lot of people, is how does it articulate? So first thing with the head, you'll see here, we have the face, has no articulation at all. It is stuck in place, cannot be moved. You have what these are called, I don't know at this current moment. I have the third one in the back. You know, it's pretty much, you got the spikes, I shouldn't call them spikes, horns, points. You can push them back if you don't like how they look in this angle, but I think this angle looks most accurate to the shape. And for articulation, as you probably saw, only one, a ball joint for the head. It allows it to look in all ways, though it is a little weak. This comes off because it was only connected by one stud. That is unfortunate, but I needed that so to have a blue strap there, else it would have just been too white. But of course, if you want some strength and make it all white, and you'll have a lot more ability to move this. But if you're posing it or doing stop motion, it will not become a problem. Then moving down to the whole torso, you have these little hinges for shoulders. Don't know if it's gonna, there we go. And this hinge goes up and down as the hand, and then also rotates so you can get some pretty good angles in. It does come off a lot because it is connected by some loose studs, but it does the job, and I don't think the loose studs look bad. And then a ball joint, as you can, very visible. I did such a poor job at rendering it. As you can see though, it's very visible, and for all the figures I've built in this scale for the Ahsoka show are very visible. Though, in my personal opinion, it is not a problem. It's just, you know what you get when you build Legos. You get gaps, and you kind of just expect them. And they don't look bad in my opinion. It just looks like everybody's getting ways. You know, it's not something that bugs me, though it might bug others. But it is just a ball joint. There's a piece here that limits its rotation going up, but when looking down, it's pretty good. And just lets you rotate it. Once again, would be really good for stop motion. And then getting closer to the legs, let's see if it will render the time. Yeah, is the exact same technique here, but done a little bit smaller. As you see, there's not a second piece here because this one has it, this one's not. It is the exact same though, up and down, though it does have a stop. Very nice and instant stop. Or you can rotate it, so however you want the legs to be. Though, do know that when they're placed like this, there's no rotation option. You have to move the legs out to rotate them, which can suck and can lead to problems, but I don't think it's much an issue. And then Of course, like what everyone does for legs, I've just used this piece with the hinge, goes back and forth, which just lets the legs rotate. This one's really loose, but this one's not. It just happens sometimes. I have a lot of really loose ones. Happen to have one thing loose, but the other wasn't. That is the Ahsoka figure. I will definitely be doing a how to build for this. And I have 2 more figures coming that are already built, and more to build.